Hello, 7 East receiving students and teachers.
Hello, Ms.
Thank you. Take your seats. Okay, receiving students and the model class, we will firstly go through our we will recap our lesson on what we have done in our previous lesson. We did not complete our results. So this morning we will quickly go through the results of our last activity. Now, can someone tell me what we have done in our last lesson? Rhoda will tell us what was our activity based on.
Measuring temperature.
Very good. Measuring temperature. Now, what were those substances that we used to measure temperature? You were given some things to use, so those things were used to help you measure temperature. Alan?
Thermometer.
Very good. So Alan, keep standing. You used a thermometer. Not only a thermometer, you were using different liquids. That was hot and cold water and warm water. Right. Alan, from your group's activity, can you give us the readings of those different temperatures of those liquids? What was the temperature of hot water, cold water, tap water, and warm water?
Cold water 29 degrees, hot water 75 degrees Celsius, hot and cold water 49 degrees Celsius.
Good. We will not go through everybody's results. I'm sure everyone has taken their results down, and you will find that hot water's temperature is higher than warm water and cold water or tap water. All right? So we find that temperature is the measure of how hot or cold something is. Now, class, we are still on the same strand, and the learning outcome is still the same. Our lesson topic for today is measuring temperature and time. For students' workbook, you should be now, the activity for today's lesson is on page 17, page 18. Sorry, it's not page 18, it should be page 17. And for the teacher's workbook, the pages should be pages 42 to 44. Okay, a correction there, it should be page 18 of students' workbook. Now, in all our activities, we always go through the safety rules. Let's remind ourselves again of some things that we should take care of when we are doing experiments. Right? Let's have one student to read the first one. Joshua, read rule number 1 and 2.
Follow all instructions carefully and seek for help if necessary. Do not spill water on the table. Wipe off all spills using a cloth.
Thank you, Joshua. Class, let's read number 3 together. Number 4.
Report any damage or accidents to the teacher immediately.
All right, good. Now, receiving teachers, I'd like you to quickly copy this table on the board for your students, whereas the model class and those students with workbooks, I'd like you to turn to page 18 and read through the instructions of today's activity quietly. I'll give you 1 minute to read through the instructions and for the teachers to copy the table on their board. All right, class, sitting up straight. I'm sure you have carefully read all the instructions of today's activity in your workbook, and the receiving teacher, you have copied this table on the board. Now, this is the result table of today's activity. Let's go through the result table together. In today's activity, we have made some little changes, so I'd like you to take note of that. Now you have a table, 2 columns. We have tap water. For students here, the model class, it's tap water, but those schools that do not have tap water, you may have tank water or well water. And you should have, after 2 minutes, meaning hot water and tap water, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and the last one, 8 minutes. Right. Let's go through the materials that are needed for today's activity. Looking here, for the model class, we are going to be using beakers. Class, we have 200 mils or milliliters of beaker here, and this is 100 mils of beaker. For the receiving schools, if you don't have beakers, you are going to be improvising using glass jars. Okay? I have an example here. Some groups in the class will be using glass jars. And you should have a bottle of water, some hot water that is already in the jug, and a stopwatch. This is a stop timer, stop clock. And for those schools that do not have stop clocks, you can use your wristwatch or the wall clock in the classroom. All right. Now, those are the materials, not forgetting a rag or a cloth, and last of all, a thermometer. Okay, here we have the thermometer in its holder. Right. Let's go through the activity instructions together. Class, let's read together instruction number 1.
Use a thermometer to measure the room temperature and record the reading.
All right. Can someone explain to me how are you going to measure the room temperature? Now that you have the thermometer in front of you in your group, how are you going to measure the room temperature? Receiving students, tell your teacher. Michael will explain to us. Thank you.
Measure all the hot water, tap water, and record the reading.
All right. Michael is thinking right ahead of the activity. My question is, how are you going to measure the room temperature? Now we are in a classroom. We are in a room and you have your thermometer there. What are you going to do? How are you going to hold the thermometer? Are you going to put it somewhere else, or what are you going to do? Goodwin?
Look at the end of the strip and decide which number is nearest.
All right, thank you. Good. So, partly answered. Thank you for that answer. Now I will tell you how to measure the room temperature. The group leader holds the thermometer. I've taught you how to hold the thermometer and how to get the reading. This is what you do. You hold the thermometer in the air. Okay, you hold it in the air and you will find that on the thermometer the numbers are separated from each other. You see zeros on one side, 0, 1 to 10 on one side, on right side, and all the zeros on the left side. Am I right? Yes, all the zeros on left side and zeros from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the other side. That means your reading shouldn't be 3. If you come up to 3, you say 3. No, it's 30. Actually, it's 30. It's just that it's written far away from each other. This is what I mean. You have 0 here and you have 3 here. 2 and 0. Okay. Don't get your reading and say 3 point so and so. You are missing this 0 out. It should be 30. 30.0 degrees or 20.0 degrees. When you come across whole numbers, always say 20.0 or 30.0 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now, your thermometer up in the air and you take the reading of the classroom or this room. What is the reading? For those of you who have the thermometer now in front of you, your eye level must be in line with the edge of the alcohol strip at 90 degrees. You take your reading when the alcohol strip stops. All right, let's hear from that group. That group there, someone in the group to give us the answer. What is the room temperature now?
31 degrees Celsius.
All right, 31 degrees Celsius. Good. Let's have that group. Florence.
34 degrees Celsius.
34. All right, you will find that now many hands are coming up. You will find that the temperature reading will be around 30. Yes, so depending on where you are, some of you are right under the fan. That is why your reading will be quite different from the others. Some of you are at the spot where it's very hot. That's why it's going to be different from the others as well. All right, so let's record that into our exercise books or into our workbooks. You have a space there provided. Write down the temperature, the room temperature of what you have done now. It won't take you long to write down the room temperature. Enter it into your workbook. Okay, are we all done? Receiving students, if you do not have your materials with you, you are going to watch and follow with the model class. All right, our next instruction for the next activity, class looking up. Let's read instruction number 2. All right, for the receiving students, you can fill a quota depending on the size of the container. Whereas the model class, this is what we are going to do. We are using beakers. This is a 200 mils beaker and this is 100 mils beaker. Watching, you are going to fill 75 mils of water. Right? The scale here is starting 20 to 80. So we have 20, in between 20 and 40 is, well, let's see, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So we are counting by 10. 10. All right, so let's see, 75 mils of water. Okay, 75 should be about, sorry, this is 60, we've gone past 60, we've gone past 70, and the water level should be in between 70 and 80, right? Once you have done that, this is tap water, you will now transfer this tap water into, pour it into the big beaker, 200 mils beaker. Pour it in there. The next instruction says you measure, what is it? Measure the temperature of the tap water, making sure that the bulb goes into the water and you hold it. Do not have the bulb to touch the bottom of the jar. Okay, so you will wait for 2 minutes to take the reading. You take the reading, the next step, class, let's read together. All right, good. Sorry, correction here, da. What I am going to do next, this is what I will do. Hot water. This time I am going to fill this beaker up, small beaker up, making sure that the amount of water in this beaker is 100 milliliters. So, okay, so 100 should go past 80 and it should be right below the mouth of the beaker, somewhere here, that should measure approximately 100 milliliters of hot water. Once you have done that, what are you going to do? Use a cloth because it's very hot. You use a cloth and pour the water into the next jar. Don't spill water. I've already spilled water. As soon as you pour it in, quickly place the thermometer into the water and start timing. Meaning, your stopwatch or stop clock should be right next to you. As soon as you place the thermometer into the beaker, you start timing. Okay? And you should be taking the reading every 2 minutes. Okay, so once the second hand strikes 60, that's 1 minute is gone. And then it goes around again, it comes back to 60 again, that's the second minute, and you get the reading. You record it down. Don't stop the watch, don't stop the stopwatch, keep reading for 2 minutes. Let's see the next instruction. You measure the temperature of hot water every 2 minutes and record it in your table. And number 6 question, you are going to answer, describe how the temperature changes. Okay. No questions, receiving students. If you don't have materials like the model class, you follow the model class. We may now begin with our activity. Right? okay. Yeah. right? Okay, you should be now on instruction number 4, adding 100 mils of hot water into the tap water and taking the reading every 2 minutes. Don't stop, keep going. Do not remove the thermometer, you only watch the time. That bottom one will give you that time. That's 60. I didn't explain that. That's all right. Okay, what minute are you on now? 5. Okay. Get ready for the 6-minute record. Supposedly, if your hand is tired, somebody can help you to hold the thermometer. Okay, did you get a reading? Okay, good. That's a good reading. Continue for the last minute now. If your hand is tired, someone can help you. Watch the time. Seven minutes now. Finish? What minute are you at now? What minute are you at now? Ah. It's okay, so long as... Is it, don't bring the bulb out, leave it. Last one now, you take the reading. These ones, they are finished or no? point it out. Watch that time. Finish good. All right, class, I'm sure you have finished doing this activity. We will now quickly go through the results of this activity. I noticed that some groups removed their thermometers and stopped timing, right? Well, receiving teachers in your own time, you can correct that with your students and carry out that activity again. For the model class, we will only concentrate on the groups that have followed the instruction. So we will now have that group number 8, to come up and record their results for us on the result chart. Right, so that is the result of what they have done in their groups, taking the reading after 2 minutes. The other groups, I know your readings are somewhere around what that group has given you, or you are completely different from theirs. You will find that as you continue to time, as you continue to get the reading, that measurements will be, the readings, the temperature will be increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. Why do you think the temperature will have to decrease? As you, hands up please.
Because the water is getting cold.
All right, I'm sure many of you will agree with this answer. Okay, that's good. So we have only that group's result. The others, please keep your results with you, because you are going to use those results in your next lesson. So do not throw away your results if you have recorded them on a scrap of paper. Summary for today's lesson. Technical group, is that okay with them? All right. Class, our next lesson will be on Let's Draw Graphs. The materials needed for the next lesson are rulers, pencils, erasers, and scrap papers. With that, our key phrase for today's lesson. Class, let's say the key phrase. Thank you, class, for participating in today's lesson.